Hello, I'm Monica Price and welcome to Cuppa TV. Today we're joined by our emotions expert John Rushton, who is going to talk to us about people's perception of self-image and how important is it. Also today I'm joined by TV personality Nathan Thursfield, who has spent £40,000 on plastic surgery to look like his idol, glamour girl Katie Price, and he's planning more. We welcome back to our studios emotional expert John Rushton, who today is going to talk about creating a self-image and how people perceive it. John, welcome back.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you so much for joining us again. So John, the whole idea of creating an image, for yourself, so spending money, spending time, however it's done, is that something that you see a lot of, in your work?
I see quite a bit of it. I see people want to have little bit nips and tucks just to remove this and do this and whatever people like to do if they have a little bit of spare cash. It's when it becomes obsessive and you have an image which is not you, it's of somebody else. And that is the problem, because if it is of somebody else, it is not you. You are not thinking and talking and walking the person you should be. You're trying to emulate somebody else or an image of somebody else based on, wow, I think they're super cool. Now, there's nothing wrong with saying, I think they're super cool. And there's nothing wrong with saying, I love their clothes. I wouldn't mind buying something like that, because we all do it. We do our houses like that. We buy our cars. We even do our gardens by seeing somebody else's, oh, that's nice, and we copy it. That's what we do. Everybody does that around the world. But when it comes to you as a person, a sentient human being with a mind and a thought process of your own, and you start to actually leave that and go somewhere else, you are leaving your actual stability. You're actually looking at something else. And whilst the journey from A to B in a transient time may be good, just over a year, because you're doing this, it's all very invigorating, exciting and wonderful and marvellous and fluffy and cuddly and all this kind of thing. When it's finished, then what? Where are you? Because your perception of yourself may not be what everybody else's perception is. People will love you for who you are. If you try and be somebody else, they will love that somebody else. So when they find the real you, they are disappointed. So you're creating a disappointment factor. You're creating something which is not genuine. It's disingenuous, in fact. You're creating an image, a Hollywood image.
I mean, it's interesting because I think in relationships that can be said as well, isn't it? When you've got relationships, you try and be somebody else, or or the person that you're with is trying to be somebody else. So that really transcends to that as well then, does it? When you're trying to be somebody else, that's really not what you should be doing. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. You should be yourself. And if you marry somebody, or you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and you say, oh, I'm going to change them, then you're with the wrong person. Because, we all have foibles, we all have faults, none of us are perfect. You should love that person, warts and all, even their funny little bits and their silly little bits, and probably their annoying little bits as well. But if you don't love that, what are you loving? Are you loving a self-image of yourself based on that person that you want to change for you? Because that other person will eventually get fed up. They will get cheesed off, and they'll possibly meet somebody who really will love them for who they are, and then the relationship comes to an end. And that's not uncommon. It starts the bickering, the arguing, and all these sort of falling out, and, well, you do this, well, I'm going to do that, and then you go your own separate way, and eventually there's nothing left. You've broken it, you've broken the spell, you've broken the harmony and the love, which should be there all the way through.
And when you're working with people, John, do you find, what's the most common thing that you find when you're working with people, when you're dealing with the emotions? Is there a theme that runs through when people approach you about anything, about any sort of emotional aspect of their lives? Is there a common theme that people approach you for?
It varies from person to person and situation to situation, but one of the most common things which people of all ilks and areas in life actually come out with is about themselves. I would like. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, because if you don't know, nobody else does. So you've got to take charge of who you are. But by the same token, if you are a couple, it's I turns into we and me turns into us. If it's all me and him or me and her, then what is the relationship? Are you just sort of shacking up for the sake of convenience? Because that's how it often ends up. And that is becoming more and more and more common. And then when it's happened 2 or 3 times, you start to blame the other partner. Well, or the partners or whatever it may be. But you know, the common denominator in all this is you. It's nobody else, it's yourself. And you've got to look at yourself and think, well, if it's going wrong time and time and time and time again, it's me. I'm the common one, not the other people, it's me. I'm the common denominator. And so you've got to understand that, you know, you've got to give and take. And it's not give what you want to give and take what you think you ought to have. It's actually understanding the give and take of what that other person needs as well, because it's understanding the harmony and that 4-letter word, which is rarely used, love. The love has got to be there. If the love isn't there, the like can be there, the empathy can be there, but if the love isn't there, it's eventually going to fragment and break down, and nothing's going to happen. And that's a sad state of affairs, and that is happening more and more today than ever before.
I mean, why is that? Why do we find it so difficult to actually express their feelings? And I mean, it all sounds so, you make it sound so wonderfully simple, but you know, it's not, is it? Obviously, because we, you know, there's so many things in the world happening today, and people, you know, will be watching the programme, can relate to what you're saying. Some people won't relate to it at all. Why is it, John, that we find it so hard as an individual ourselves to express what we need to express our feelings, really, I suppose?
We've got into a society which has this awful thing called political correctness, you know, which I absolutely detest. And I don't respect anybody who is politically correct at all. I think you should say what you want. You're not in charge of anybody else's happiness. You're not in charge of how other people think and feel. You are in charge of you. And providing you're not going to be overtly rude, you're entitled to say exactly what you want to say, how you want to say it, and how you think. That is how the world progresses. That's how science changes. That's how we evolve, by telling people who we are, what we are. If you never tell me about yourself, and I completely keep annoying you, I will never know. And if you say, oh, why didn't you tell me? I'm sorry, I didn't know I was doing this. You know, well, I didn't want to get you upset. You haven't upset me. I'm really pleased. I don't want to upset you. You know, it's this kind of thing. And you've got to say it. And if other people say, well, I'm offended, well, you know, people who keep saying they're offended are stupid. Because what it means is you've given your permission and authority to somebody else, and now they've offended you. You may not like what they say, you may get slightly upset, but to get offended time and time again, this makes you look actually worthless, because this doesn't give you any credibility at all. So you've got to be open and honest with people. And one of the things people are frightened of doing is actually saying, you know, I quite like you as a person. You're really quite nice. You don't have to say it in that word. You say it in your own terms, your own words. But people should say that more and more often, because, you know, people do actually pick up on it. Even those gruff people that don't like to say anything about anybody, you know, if you say something nice about them, they do take it to heart. And it does make them feel better. And it makes them a little bit more mellow themselves, because this is what we're all about as human beings. It's the interaction of humanity. It's how we get on. It's how we communicate. It's how we get what we want to do, how we feel happier in life, and how we understand life, and how we feel more contented, because we know that the people around us like us for whom we are. We can't like everybody in life. It's virtually impossible. But we can like the people around us.
Yes. And I mean, and the people who, you know, talking about to the beginning of the conversation, we were talking about the people that, you know, spend money and do things to change themselves. How do we perceive those people? How do we look at them? Do we look at them any differently because they're changing, or do we just accept, or should we just accept what they're doing?
Mainly, we just accept that they are changing. The people who are changing themselves and having all the plastic surgery done and buy specially designer clothes because it's got a Gucci or Chanel or Ferragamo or whatever label on it, you know, it is look good, feel good, and you are your shop window, so whatever you look like and whatever you say is part and parcel of your shop window, so that is important. But over and above that, people will like you for exactly who you are. So if you start adding more and more and more, they'll say, oh, that's nice. Or maybe they won't. Maybe they'll say, what on earth are they doing?
So it's really the personality.
It is indeed.
Keep your personality is what you're saying.
Yes, it is. Absolutely, yes.
And then that personality is really important to show people exactly who you are.
Yes, because they love your personality. It's your personality they are talking to. They're not talking to your dress or your hair or anything else. That is a visual aspect which is pleasing towards them. But anything other than that, they're talking to you. You're the person that's going to make something. And that's the bit they're going to really like and enjoy and fall in love with. Nothing else. Because if they fall in love with an image, it's like the Hollywood facade. You go into Hollywood, if you ever go to Hollywood and look, and you see these fabulous facades. But when you open the door, it's just weeds and scaffolding behind. It is a facade. And it comes off well in a film, but it's only manufactured. It's not real.
John, it's fascinating as always. Thank you so much for coming on the
My
show
pleasure,
again. Lovely to see you. Welcome back to Cuppa TV. Now, have you ever considered having plastic surgery in an effort to look just like your idol? Well, this guy did, and after spending more than £40,000, he still wants to spend more. He's been on numerous television shows, currently filming as we speak. Let's talk to TV personality Nathan Thursfield. Nathan, welcome to Cuppa TV.
Thanks for having me.
Wonderful to have you here.
Thank you.
So, Nathan, first of all, let's tell the viewers at home who your idol is, I should say.
I think everyone knows now. It is Katie Price.
Katie Price.
Yes.
So, Nathan, you've had so much money, £40,000 plus.
Probably more than that.
Oh, so, to look like Katie Price.
Yeah.
So tell us about how did that all begin? How did this fascination with Katie begin?
It all started when I was watching a TV show with my mum. It was Jordan Model Mum on BBC, and I was just so fascinated by her. And obviously being young and whoever's like, you know, like that kind of role model,
Yes.
whatever. And then I was just watching her, I was just like so fascinated, like I was transfixed by it, and I was just obviously watching her even more every episode or whatnot, and then I was searching her on Google and things like that, and then it just became even like more obsessed with her really. But she's just fantastic. Like,
And how old were you? How old were you when it began?
13, about 13, 12, 13, yeah.
And then so presumably you just followed what she was doing and her looks and everything.
Yeah, so she was like a glamour model at the time, I think, and it was just, I was just trying, no one else was like her, and it was just like she was so, her attitude I loved, like she was so ballsy, I don't know if you can say that.
Yeah, you can say that.
Oh, right, okay. But I just loved everything about her, and obviously it was her looks for me what drew in, like, you know, obviously all the surgery and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, she's really interesting.
Did that make you think about surgery because she'd had surgery?
It did at first, yeah, and as I was growing up, I was like, oh, I want this because of Katie, I want this, I want this. But then obviously as I grew up a bit more, I realised that I was actually uncomfortable, like in myself, like looking at myself and things like that. I just wasn't happy, so I did it for me, as well as obviously following her. But yeah, so I'm glad I did follow her because, you know, I wouldn't be as confident as I am today, really.
And how old were you when you had your first treatment?
My first treatment, like, probably about 17, I had Botox. But then I had my first nose job a year later because you have to be 18, obviously. Yeah, I would have had it done sooner if I could. Yeah, definitely when I was at 14.
So tell us what you've had done.
So I've had 2 nose jobs. I've had like lip filler, cheek filler, chin filler, Botox like here, everywhere really. Eyebrows tattooed, everything really you could think. But
and is it something that you're going to continue to do?
100%, I'm going to continue to do it. Everyone keeps moaning at me and stuff like that, and I'm only 20, but I don't want wrinkles and I don't want to look older. I just want to look younger, and so the key is prevention, isn't it?
Yeah. And when you're having the treatment, how does that make you feel, Nathan?
When I've had it done or going to have it done, I'm like really scared because I don't know what it's going to look like. Like my boyfriend is like the level-headed one, and I'm like, I just jump into anything. You know, if you said to me today, oh, let's go for this, I'd go, and I regret it after. But when I've had it done, I'm like, get such a buzz. It's like, it is an addiction, really. It's like people with fags or alcohol, you know, their addiction, mine's that, and as soon as I've had it done, I get just a buzz and I won't go back for more. Like when I have my lip filler, as soon as I've had it done, I'm like, oh my God, I should have had more, or, you know what I mean? So.
But some people would say, £40,000,
Yeah,
that's an
lot.
awful lot of money. What do you say to people who are perhaps watching and thinking, why would you spend that amount of money on it?
Do you know what? I get so much of that, like, abuse and whatnot, but I say, for my money, So I will spend it on what I want. I don't smoke or I don't drink really. So, you know, I've got everything I want at home, like a gorgeous house, you know, family, whatever. So I just do it on that. You know, I love the like looks and stuff like that. So that's my.
And you first hit the television screens, didn't you, with it? So tell us about that for people who perhaps don't know you. What happened?
So I did a case study for the place where I had my rhinoplasty done, and they were like, oh, God, this is really interesting, you know, obsessed Jordan fan spends this to look like Katie, whatever. And I was like, fair enough, and I just went along with it, you know. And I thought it would just be like a little case study on the Daily Mail, but then it went to everywhere, everywhere.
Kind of took off, didn't it?
It went everywhere, and I was at work, and I was like, everyone was messaging me. I had my phone in my pocket. Shouldn't really say that would get done. And it was my phone was just hounding me, and I was like, oh my God.
Why do you think that was, Nathan? What sparked that interest? Because it was. I mean, there was an incredible interest when you came out and were speaking about it. Why do you think that was?
I think it's a man, because I'm a man. If I was a woman, you hear so many things, you know, I've had a boob job or whatnot. It gets a bit boring, but I think when a man does it, it's like, oh my God, a man's done it, you know what I mean? So I think it draws people in a bit more. I didn't want it to draw anyone in, I just did it for the company where I did, you know, I did it as a favour. But yeah, so it went everywhere. It was like China, America. I got more following in America really than I have here.
Really?
But everywhere it was, all in the papers, it was so weird.
So once that happened, how did that change your life?
Oh, it's weird because like I've been able to like stop work now and do this, and it's like really cool. And I get more like, I think because I'm more known now in my area, it's like I get loads of love, you know, and I do get the most sweetest messages ever, but I'm 10 times more confident now doing it. Like, and everyone knows my story, you know, instead of hiding or whatnot. So, yeah, it's really better now.
And what would you say to somebody who's watching and maybe considering having some plastic surgery, John, or looking and thinking, actually, I'd like to do that myself? What would you say to them?
I'd say good luck because it does hurt, or whatever you have, you know, it's really painful. That,
You've heard
you
it
know,
here, it
yeah,
hurts.
it really does hurt. Like, my nose jobs were awful. It was so painful. But I'd just say, you know, do it for you, not to follow anybody. I think I've realised that as I grew older. Like, I shouldn't have probably done the stuff just because she's had it done. I should have done it just for me. But like my nose jobs and things, I have done that for me. But, you know, if you're uncomfortable, then go ahead. You know, you only live once, and, you know.
So it's almost really like the maturity. As you've got more mature, you've realised that not to do it for somebody else, but to do it because you want to do it.
Definitely, yeah. I think people should wait until they're a bit older. Maybe I shouldn't have Botox at my age or things like that, but it's like, yeah, you should just wait till you get older and then listen to your friends and family. You always think that they're just giving you abuse or whatnot, but they're not. They're actually there to support you.
And are your family very supportive?
Yeah, all of them are, apart from me nan. My nan's like quite old-fashioned, so she's like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, like coming here today. She's like, no, you shouldn't do this anymore, just go back to it, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, they're all dead supportive. They have to be, don't you?
Yes.
You know, I will do it anyway, but they are supportive.
And because it's taken you on such a journey. I mean,
Yeah.
you're on the cover of so many magazines. What are you currently on the cover of?
I did a feature and interview for the Gay UK, so I'm on the cover for that. I'm on the cover of Take a Break, which is out now.
Yeah.
And then I did a feature for Gay Times. That was so much fun. But like, I've done so much, and I would never have done this before. Radio, loads of TV, you know, This Morning.
Here today.
Cuppa TV.
Cuppa TV,
yeah.
quite right.
But yeah, loads of stuff. Like, I'm filming for loads of stuff. It's really cool. Yeah.
And how do you see your future? What would you like to do in your future?
I'd probably say like this kind of stuff, like what Katie does, but I would love to do like a brand for me. But obviously I'm not that big or whatever. But I would definitely want to do some presenting, you know. I love modelling, I always have done modelling, and I stopped for quite a while, so I won't get back into that. Yeah, just TV, I love it. You know, I was going to do Big Brother this year, but then I decided not to do it. And I wish I did it now.
Do you?
But next year is my year.
Is
I'm
it?
going in that house.
What made you decide not to do it?
When I was there and stuff, and because I met with like producers and things like that, and it was just, I felt quite uncomfortable because I've never been away from everyone. And I thought to myself, do you know what? It's not like the celebrity one where they're in there for like a few weeks. That one's you're in there for months, I think.
And
like,
you are cut off totally.
Yeah, and
you don't have
I'm
any
constantly
access
on
at
my
all.
phone all the time, and it's like I've got no, you know,
Was it
I
the
can't.
fear of losing
yeah,
the
I
phone?
thought I can't live without my phone, or like a sunbed or anything like that. Can you imagine? Oh God! But then I thought, do you know what? When I was watching like previous episodes and stuff, and like the other personalities in the house, I think I would have really clashed with this year, especially like probably most of them. So I'm glad I haven't gone in this year, and then hopefully next year there's some nice people. Yeah.
But you've got lots of other things though. You're currently filming at the moment. Can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah, I've just, well, I'm filming for Channel 4 at the moment. That airs later on in the year. Can't say much about that.
You'll have to come back and tell us a bit
back,
more.
Yeah. It's quite fun actually.
Good.
I've just filmed for Vicky Patterson. I don't know if you know her.
Yes, I do.
Geordie Shore,
yes.
yeah.
Geordie Shore.
Judge Geordie, I've just filmed for that, but that was probably the worst experience in filming I've done. But, well, Vicky is what she is, you know.
Yeah.
But then I've done loads. I did a documentary with BBC that airs soon. I did one with a company called RTL that aired in 33 countries. I think that's why I'm more known in them countries than anywhere else.
Yeah, because you're quite well known abroad, you know,
yeah,
worldwide.
more abroad, like USA. Like,
Yes.
it's weird, like I've done a few interviews in USA, like I've been offered to do Botched in America. But I don't know if I'm botched or not. So I don't know.
Botched to me, I have to say.
I hope not. But yeah, I've been offered to do loads of stuff. I turned down quite a lot because it is very surgery based, like makes you look a bit weird in a certain way. So I thought, you know, I have turned down quite a bit, but you know, who knows?
So you're going to have more work done.
I am, yes.
More work done.
Ham.
And more TV for you, which is obviously something you enjoy.
Yeah, I love doing TV, yeah. It's so much fun. Makeup, you know, I've got my makeup artist, Nikki.
Yes.
She's amazing. You know, I wouldn't look like that. You know, a rush job, but it's amazing. She's so good.
Right, we have to leave you now. So I'd like to thank John and Nathan for joining me today. We'd love to hear from you, so please do get in touch, either by email or you can join us on Facebook or Twitter at Big Centre TV. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.